name is Asha Sampath and welcome to this new edition of Business Africa, your magazine dedicated to the continent's business and economic news. As usual, you can win $150 in our Business Africa game. More details later, but first, today's top stories. In the Central African Republic, an NGO aims to provide shoes to the whole country.
When I was in Bangui, I often asked people to buy these shoes because they are very beautiful. They don't smell, no odors of the skins. They are just like machine-made shoes in big factories.
Stop to bankruptcies. The Mogadishu Bank is on a mission to assist Somali entrepreneurs hit by the economic impact of COVID.
I cannot pay the rent and other utilities in my shop. Many businesses have collapsed and forced to close.
The solar pump facilitates access to water in a context of scarcity. In the southeast of Senegal, solar energy does more than quench the thirst of the populations.
Before it was not easy. Due to lower rainfall, the soil became degraded and there was no more land to cultivate. We were going to move away, but now thanks to solar energy, we have enough water to develop our land.
We are opening this edition in the Central African Republic. During a visit last month, experts from the IMF hailed encouraging signs of economic recovery there, with the reopening of the main trade corridor with Cameroon. They also noted the improvement of security in the regions, a context more conducive to private initiative. This is how showing the country with ox and sheep skins became the slogan of these men and women united in the Association of Leather Artisans of Bambari, or Asakuba. Bertrand Médard-Gaimas, our correspondent, met them in the east of the country, 375 kilometers from the capital Bangui. Take a look.
About 50 men and women are crafting artisanal products from animal skins and tree bark under this shed. Asakuba is their association of leather craftsmen of Bambari, the fifth largest city in the Central African Republic, located at the center of the country.
We did not have a place when the association was created in 1991. Shortly, the town hall sent our file to the domain, which has given us this space since 1995. But long before, we were scattered before finding ourselves here today.
Here, Matthias Junior Mandaba, president of the association, and his friends are busy every day putting on shoes for the inhabitants of the city and passing visitors.
In one day, unless overloaded or impeded, a craftsman can make 3 pairs of shoes, not more. If you receive a direct order, you can do it alone, but if it is an order addressed to the association, we work on the assembly line. The assembly is done here and the finishing is done with the team under the shed over there.
Shoes, handbags or handmade belts are sold on site by Bruno Arsène and his colleagues to enable them to support their families.
This model is the one called Duke Saga, which is ordered by a customer. I am doing the assembly. By this evening, I would have finished the sole.
Poor road conditions and insecurity mean that traffic is scarce or non-existent between Bangui and Bambari. It's not easy under these conditions to sell the products. The main clientele of the association is largely made up of expatriate visitors working or passing through Bambari. When I was in Bangui, I often asked people to buy these shoes because they are very beautiful. They don't smell, no odors of the skins. They are just like machine-made shoes in big factories. With raw materials found locally, Asakuba is undoubtedly the only craft industry in the Central African Republic capable of supplying the country with quality products recognized throughout the nation.
We work with goat skins, sheep skins, and ox skins. These used tires, we buy them from transporters. They will serve as the soles of our shoes.
And as we can see today, the notoriety of the association attracts more and more women who are interested in the profession of craftsmanship. We are in a world where women must do things in the same way as men. And I'm happy and proud of what I do among men. It's a job that helps me support my family. In the morning, my children can have breakfast and find a meal when they return from school. Salome is the pride of her peers. Her courage and her determination already force the admiration of many people who also have the desire to follow in her footsteps. When I come here and I see a woman among them who works so well, and that makes me really happy. She's the one who made these shoes that are in my bag. I also ordered a bag, but the gentleman told me to come back at 3 p.m. Honestly, I like their products. For Asakuba, the objective is not only to trade in quality products, it is also job creation, in particular for women by offering them, for example, free training. And the activities of the Bombari Association go even further with, for example, the provision of land for cultivating vegetables to widows who can no longer go to their fields because of the dangers and the insecurity that reign in the country.
Merci.
We are grateful for this gesture, which allows us widowed women to have this land to cultivate. We have lost our husbands and children, and we are destitute. It must be said that the city, once flourishing with several agri-food industries installed here, has seen its economy collapse, and that few high-potential activities remain. Finding a job remains the number one priority for everyone.
I joined Asakuba since I left school. I approached others to learn as I did not want to remain jobless. I feed my family with the little money I earn here. I save a portion for tough times.
With dozens of jobs created and his role vis-à-vis the population, the creative Asakuba hopes that his association will quickly be recognized as a real NGO, a legitimate ambition that would allow him to equip the association with more efficient equipment to provide shoes to the whole country, and also by further increasing its social impact among the populations.
The Democratic Republic of the Congo joins the East African Community. The Central African country has linked its economy of 90 million people to the trading bloc of its 6 neighbors. It's a move in line with the bilateral relations that link Kinshasa to several of the countries making up the bloc. Kenya in particular welcomed the agreement. It will allow its small businesses to increase their exports of agri-food products inside the continent. In Egypt, the Suez Canal Authority will raise its vessel transit fees from May 1st. This is more bad news for oil imports as prices soar as a result of the crisis in Ukraine. The duties imposed on oil tankers using the sea route will thus increase from 5 to 15%, while the charges imposed on chemical tankers and bulk liquid tankers will be raised by 10 to 20%. The channel's revenue at $6.3 billion hit its highest level in 2021. Meanwhile, in Somalia, entrepreneurs are struggling to withstand the financial impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. And an Islamic finance institution founded by Dubai-based Somali businessmen has chosen to help them. Our correspondent in Mogadishu, Abdirahman Hussain, has the story. Take a look. Somalia, like many other countries in Africa, has been adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Businesses have taken a hit as incomes dwindle, forcing many to cut down operations while others shut down. Meet Aden Guha Afra, a businessman in Mogadishu's Hamarweyne. His story, just like that of many other traders in the market, is one of loss and despair.
ilaahay anaga badbaadiyo saameyn badan oo nagu yeeshay.
My business has seriously suffered since the COVID-19 pandemic broke out.
ganacsi baan ahay, ganacsigayga wax wada badan baa u dhimay. dhibkaas oo ah ciddii aan wax ka iibsan jirnay ama noo imaan jirtay ama xawliga oo ku socon jiray.
We open at the shop at 7 in the morning and close at 6 in the evening without making even one sale.
alxamdu shukri intaas waxaa noo dheer waxaa laga yaabaa inaad furto saaka dukaankaaga adoon bismillah.
I cannot pay the rent and other utilities in my shop. Many businesses have collapsed and forced to close.
shacabkiiyo tabaalaysan oo aad iyo aad moodo inuu maartay waxyaalo ugu yeeshay.
But an initiative by a local bank in Somalia is coming to the rescue of businesses through soft loans. Traders like Adan can apply for an interest-free loan from IBS Bank to jumpstart their business and cushion them from COVID-19 and related shocks.
kunkaas dollar on ahayn ama ah.
IBS lends me $1,000 and invests in my small business without charging interest.
bixinayo
We pay back at an agreed monthly rate of $100.
ay ku socotaa.
Mohammed Noor, who runs a small clothes shop in the same market, was about to close his business as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic when the IBS credit facility came to being.
My business almost failed because of COVID-19. We hardly had clients because few people used to come to the market or hardly brought anything. The price of clothes from the wholesalers also kept going up. IBS gave me $500 to jumpstart my business, and I pay back every month without interest.
According to a recent report by the Somali government and the UNDP, Somalia has since lost $86 million as a result of COVID-19 and related shocks. The socio-economic impact assessment also estimates the Horn of Africa nation lost a growth opportunity of $300 million. To tackle this downfall and help small businesses to recover, IBS has structured its loan facility as a microfinance tool.
The bank provides microfinancing to small business so as to take part in the development of the country. The amount we give to small businesses is between $500 and $1,000 at zero interest. We give $5,000 to $100,000 to middle-income businesses as an investment in the company. In Somalia, there are many challenges in the investment sector. Small business people could not meet the demands of the banks and don't have the proper documentation for their business. The other challenge is that some people have limited knowledge of bank investments, as the country has just emerged from decades of anarchy and war.
This state of affairs is also what led several Dubai-based Somali businessmen to come up with an Islamic banking solution for Somalia.
Well, the bank was established in 2014. And it's a group of Somali business people who came together with the idea of launching the bank. And the idea was to provide a platform for access to finance and access to banking, which, as you know, following the civil war, we had a total collapse of the financial sector. The aim of the shareholders or the pioneers of this bank was to ensure that the country gets a robust, accessible, and convenient banking services. So that's what led to the birth of IBS Bank.
But what are the challenges of lending money to people who hardly have any documents to prove their creditworthiness or even security in case of default?
Somalia is no exception. We face challenges just like any other country that is coming out of a conflict. So any challenges faced by a country with a post-conflict is what we are facing. The other challenge again is how do we create financial literacy in this market, and how do we promote financial inclusion? A larger part of the population is unbanked at the moment. Estimates vary. World Bank sometimes says that it's less than 5% who are of the population which is using the formal banking system.
Initiatives such as those of IBS and other actors are key to cushioning Somalia from the painful impact of COVID-19. With less than 1% of the population vaccinated against COVID-19 and the country struggling to emerge from many years of instability, support to families and populations is critical. Welcome back to the second part of our show. Has Guinea paved the way for a better distribution of mineral resources in Africa? One thing is sure, after an endless series of corruption scandals, the Guinean government has just signed a framework agreement for the gigantic Simandou iron deposit. Conakry obtains much better conditions for this project. For example, a non-dilutable participation of 15% in the capital of the companies owning the port and railway infrastructures, and a transfer of their ownership as soon as the construction works are completed. The agreement also requires the setting up of joint ventures with local companies, with training and technology transfers. A national agency will manage the interests of stakeholders. In Qatar, the 2022 edition of the Doha Forum gave pride of place to what participants described as the Great South. In other words, the countries of the southern part of the hemisphere called for greater involvement in the global agenda. The participation of a Malian delegation was particularly noted. Choguel Maïga, Prime Minister of Mali, indeed highlighted the benefits of his country for foreign investors, in particular its gold mines, its gas reserves and its livestock. He also affirmed Mali's desire to further diversify its foreign partners. In this context, can the economic relationship between France and the continent be weakened? To find out more, let me now turn to the French diplomat Sylvain Ité, Special Envoy for Public Diplomacy in Africa. Sylvain Ité, thank you for joining me on Business Africa to talk about the economic relationship between France and Africa. First of all, is the development of economic flows and investments an important lever for preserving the relationship between France and the continent?
Oui, bien sûr, la relation économique comme...
Yes, certainly. Their economic relations, as in all relations between states, between continents or between regions, are important. France has had an economic presence in Africa for a long time, of course.
Depuis bien sûr longtemps. Cette présence
Its presence is diverse. It's extremely rich in terms of diversification in the economy.
En termes de diversification dans l'économie.
We obviously have the big groups in mind. The big French companies are there.
Sont là. N'oublions pas également le nombre extrêmement important de...
Let's remember the substantial number of large French SMEs, which are also present in all sectors and are increasing their presence in the rest of the African continent.
Du continent africain. Et je crois que l'important, c'est que ces investissements...
I believe the important thing is these investments should continue and expand through the many recent initiatives and which are starting to be important on a symbolic level.
Sur le plan symbolique, mais sur le plan économique, qui est la création des TPE.
But also on an economic level, which is the creation of VSEs, SMEs, created by initiatives from the diaspora.
Diaspora, notamment. Donc, je crois que
I believe in this respect, France has always been an important economic player and will remain so in the years to come.
Dans les années qui viennent.
But what new strategies do you envisage to further engage African companies in this economic relationship? What isn't working anymore and what should be advised instead?
Une chose est certaine, c'est que l'Afrique ne se développe pas.
One thing is certain, and that is Africa will only develop strongly by having economic development through industrialization.
Riche et qui passe par une industrialisation, bien évidemment, mais passe également par...
Of course, but also by strengthening private initiative.
L'initiative privée
Also, to have the means so all those who have economic projects in Africa, as in France, can carry them out and be able to finance them. I truly believe there is an awareness, not only in France, but across Europe and the world, that it was fundamental to help Africa develop through the creation and support of business. I just recall that, for the record, that the President of the Republic and France in 2020 initiated a moratorium on African debt, which resulted in a decision by the main international donors to freeze the repayments of interest on their debt that African states owe their foreign creditors, starting with China, Africa's largest creditor.
La Chine, qui est le premier créancier d'Afrique pour des pays africains, et a débouché également sur le.
It also led to the summit which took place last May in Paris, which brought together heads of state from Europe and Africa, officials from all continents,
des responsables de tous les continents, des organisations multilatérales,
multilateral organizations such as the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund, with a purpose of reforms, allowing better financing of the African economy, and to get away from the idea of development aid Africans no longer want.
Non pas dans une logique d'aide au développement que les Africains ne veulent plus, ils veulent construire des partenariats.
They want to build partnerships. They want equal support with their foreign partners. And this is what France has been aiming for in recent years.
Sylvain T, thank you very much. It is the rush of battle in Africa to achieve independence of vaccines and medicines. As you know, the COVID-19 crisis was an opportunity to raise awareness on the continent. CDC Africa aims for 60% of routine vaccines administered to be produced locally by 2040. The International Finance Corporation and the Institut Pasteur of Dakar have just signed a partnership for the construction of a $222 million vaccine factory, and several other initiatives are underway. In Morocco, a Pan-African factory is expected to produce 116 million doses of vaccines by 2024. Become a leader in green energy in sub-Saharan Africa. This is the ambition of Senegal, which is constantly expanding its solar panel fleet. Several projects supported by partners such as the IFAD have been carried out for the benefit of rural populations to help them cope with water shortages. Example of the benefits of the solar pump in the southeast of Senegal with this report. Let's take a look.
Here in Senegal, a country in West Africa, these women are gathering produce from their own garden. But only a few years ago, they struggled to grow anything at all because of soil degradation and lack of water due to climate change.
Before it was not easy. Due to lower rainfall, the soil became degraded and there was no more land to cultivate. We were going to move away, but now thanks to solar energy, we have enough water to develop our land.
Solar energy is used to pump water from the wells, ensuring that the 65 women in this cooperative have a steady supply for irrigation. This is all part of a $30 million investment by the Global Environment Facility and the UN's International Fund for Agricultural Development. Improvements to irrigation systems and water management are underway, and new farming practices have a positive impact on the communities.
With the adoption of good farming techniques that are more suitable to the changed climate, the project has helped improve soil fertility, which has led to an increase in productivity, permitting the community to improve their standard of living, their health, as well as their nutrition.
One technique is to diversify production to cope with a change in climate. This provides a more varied diet with less chances of hunger if one crop fails. And with an abundant supply of water, these women are starting a new business: fish farming, a good source of protein and extra income for their families. To make the most of their yields, these women have also learned how to process their own food. Awa says they can earn more and at the same time reduce waste.
Before, parts of the garden crops were not sold and were likely to rot. But by processing products like tomato sauce or jams, we were able to make a profit and create a fund to finance other activities.
With this extra money, farmers can buy livestock and other food supplies. Awa, who was widowed 5 years ago, can now look after the 21 members of her extended family, including 8 children and 8 grandchildren.
We have had record yields, and this allowed us to rebuild our house and buy sheep. Each woman in the group has at least 4 sheep, and some have bought oxen, others furniture. This project has had a very concrete impact on our lives.
In a nearby village, more suitable crops are helping other farmers like Aja Dao make the most of their limited resources. Here, they can now grow a fast-maturing rice variety that can thrive with less rain.
Good agricultural practices and technologies have saved us. Now we have less good land, but with seeds that have short cycle and high yields, instead of farming many hectares, we farm a few and still get a large production.
Awa and Aja are among the more than 32,000 families who have improved their nutrition, health, and incomes through these changes. And, more importantly, they are now better equipped to face an uncertain future and to cope with the challenges of a changing climate.
It's now time to reward our loyal viewers of Business Africa. It's up to you to answer to the following questions. If you're drawn among those who have given the correct answers, you will win $150. This is game number 573, so listen carefully to the questions that follow, and good luck. First question, how many pairs of shoes are produced per day by an Asakuba artisan? 10 pairs, 3 pairs, or 2 pairs? Second question, what does Mohammed Noor sell? Vegetables, meat, clothes? You know the answers. You can participate now by going to our website africaonair.com in the replay section. Answer the questions, fill out your form, and good luck. And of course, don't forget to include your contact details, name, address, telephone, email, and the number of the game you are entering with the answers, of course. This game, for example, is game number 573. Check out the terms and conditions in the replay section on our news website, africaonair.com. The winner will receive $150 as our winner this week. Congratulations! You gave the correct answers to our game number 572. Here are the details. First question, what or who are the Lepis? The answer, loincloths made in Guinea. Second question, what does agripreneur Noel Mulinganya produce? The answer, cassava flour. That's it. Business Africa is over for today. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel for Initiative Africa. French diplomat Sylvain Ité, Special Envoy for Public Diplomacy in Africa, will be our guest for a full interview this time. In the meantime, you can watch this show again on our website, africaonair.com, as well as on all our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Take care of yourselves and see you next week. Goodbye.